Okay, so this is a question for task 2. Nowadays, more people are choosing to socialize online rather than face to face. Is this a positive or negative development? First of all, the first thing that you should notice about this is that this is a new way of asking argumentative questions. It's the same kind of format, um, and you have to basically speak about whether um, you think it's positive or negative, or do you have a mixed response. It can be one of those three. So in an agree disagree essay, almost the same thing happens. It provides an opinion, you agree with that opinion or you disagree with it, and then you provide reasons for that agreement or disagreement, right? Okay, so let's start with the introduction. So I'm going to write like a probably band score 6-7 introduction, and then I'm going to improve it to band score 8-9. Okay, a band score 6 or 7 introduction would be in this day and age. So basically, I am taking the same words from um, the question and I'm just paraphrasing them and I'm turning them into a background statement. Um, Instead of more and more people or more people, I'll say an increasing number of people are um, using social media. So um, are using social media um, to connect um, or to stay in touch. Okay, so um, in my opinion, um, this is a this is so now here I'm going to go for um, more of a positive um, response. So I'm thinking that it's positive, but I'm going to say that it has some negative aspects. So this is a positive development, maybe, um, although there might be some um, drawbacks to it. Okay, so let's just fix the spelling here. Okay, so this is a band score 6 or 7, probably a band score 7 introduction. Okay, but a band score 8 or 9 introduction is probably going to be a little bit better in terms of uh, vocabulary, right? So you can say, you can start, instead of the background statement being just a paraphrase of the question, you can start with your own background statement and say, social media is an emergent mode of communication that has colored the lives of um, numerous people all over the world. Okay, so that is a better background statement than this because the vocabulary is better and also it is more creative. Now we move into the thesis statement. So we can say, in my view, um, there are, or using social media brings a number of benefits. Okay, and then a high band score thesis statement, usually what it has is it has kind of a list of what you are going to talk about. So in my views, using social media bring a number of benefits, such as, and then we mention the main ideas that we're going to talk about in the body of the paragraph. We can say connectivity, for example, and then let's say one benefit of it is being connected with friends and family, and and facilitating online business. Okay, and then however, and you see how I punctuate however, because this is a conjunctive adverb, and a conjunctive adverb is an adverb that functions as a conjunction, right? But it's not a conjunction, it's an adverb. So a conjunctive adverb like however, as a result, these are used a lot in IELTS, and a lot of websites and books just call them linkers. They are linkers, but linker is a very vague term, because a conjunction is a linker. There are 3 or 4 types of conjunctions. Those are all considered linkers. Sometimes even introductory elements could be considered linkers. Adverbs could be considered linkers sometimes. It is more accurate to call it by its specific name. However, using or excessive reliance on social media can lead to isolation, anxiety, and other psychological ailments. Okay, so this is a longer paragraph. However, it is a much higher band score, and that's just because I'm trying to keep the vocabulary at a high level, right? So this would be, let's call this band score 7 intro. Okay, and this would be a band score 8 to 9 intro. Okay, now we finished paragraph 1, so if you have any questions, you can ask right now. The minimum that you need for task 2 is how many words?
250.
Yeah. So you have 250 words, right? So that means that you can't go below 250 words. But there is no limit set for how much you can go over. So you can write 500 words. I think the last...
for the introduction, how many sentences to be okay for the introduction?
So I would say don't go over 40 words.
Okay, like 5 lines, 6 lines, that's okay.
Yeah, usually... I'm sorry, go ahead.
here like, you wrote 6 lines, so like consider the introduction 5, 6 lines is okay. I'm just trying to like count up all your yeah.
Yeah, so on the IELTS answer sheet, a line is probably like 12 words. So 1, 2, 3,
No,
4,
I'm going
5,
for
6,
the
7,
paper
8,
one.
9. Yeah, 12 words, paper-based.
Okay.
So it will look something like this, maybe. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go back a little bit. That is the width of your answer sheet, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, mine is a little bit long. It's a little bit long. And if I have time, I will come back and I will shorten it a little bit, right? Okay, so now let's go to the body
So
paragraphs.
is it wrong to use and the way you had it before?
No, no, it's not. No, this is just for allowing people to read it more easily.
Kara, I thought this is an opinion question. But you said it's agree disagree question, right?
It's not an agree disagree, it's an argumentative. So our agree disagree falls under the same category as argumentative. Opinion is basically everything that you write for task 2 is an opinion essay, right?
Oh,
When
okay.
you are discussing, that's an opinion essay, or when you are talking about advantages, disadvantages, that's an opinion essay. 2-part questions, all of those are opinion essays. So opinion
Oh,
essay is not really a category, right?
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So let's go to the next paragraph. I might have to reduce this to 18 to fit the whole essay. Okay. Is that still visible for you guys?
Yes, Kara.
Okay. Now let's go to the first body paragraph. So because we, in the second iteration that we had of the introduction, because we actually made a list of things that we wanted to talk about, so our body paragraph will follow the same order, right? So always make sure that your body paragraphs have very short and clear topic sentences. So here, the first paragraph, probably the best topic sentence that comes to mind is perhaps the ability to connect with family and friends is the most significant not achievement, let's say most significant benefit of social media. Okay, so one thing that is important is that this is for your coherence. For coherence, it is always very important that you have a topic sentence, and then from there you follow with whatever else you are going to talk about. And everything else should follow under that topic sentence, should support that topic sentence. This is for your coherence, right? And another thing that is important is that you have to develop the idea properly. So you can't just talk about it a little bit and then move to the next idea. Because if you do that, that would reduce your task response, right? So as you know, there are 4 areas that are involved in the marking of an IELTS essay, right? So for task 2 is task response and coherence and cohesion and lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy. So task response is basically talking about the question, not going off topic, and also it is developing the ideas in the paragraphs properly. Okay, coherence and cohesion it means that there has to be a logical flow. So you have to start from point A, go to point B, go to point C. And then lexical resource is using uncommon words. This is for band score 7. Okay. Below band score 7, you don't have to use uncommon words, but if you need band score 7 or higher, you need to use uncommon words, and your collocations have to be correct. And then the better collocation you have and the better precision you have, okay, then you will go up to band score 8 or 9. And then for GRA, you have to have a lot of complex structures, including complex sentences, compound complex sentences. And then you also have to have no mistakes and also correct punctuation. So all of those work together to get you to band score 7. So here, perhaps the ability to connect with family and friends is the most significant benefit of social media. So now we have to develop this. For example, we can say users, because those people who are on social media are called users, are able to create profiles with ease and almost always for free. And, or no, let's make it a complex sentence here, which will enable them to share their ideas with their immediate circle of, or with their social circle. Let's not call it, let's keep it simple. Social circle, and also participate in voice and video chats. Okay, so something like that is good. And then if we have more ideas, we'll come back and we'll work on it a little bit more. But right now, seems to me that it's okay. So now we move to the next idea. The next idea was facilitating online business. We are still in this paragraph, so if you have any questions, just wait until I finish the paragraph and then you can ask. Now, because I'm adding new information, right, I will say, in addition, some businesses use social media to connect with their customers and elicit their opinion about products and services. It is these social platforms are also very effective in promoting new products to a larger, let's say, a larger audience. Okay, so that would be my second verb. Now I'm going back, I'm realizing that my topic sentence actually is talking about the first idea, but it's not talking about the second idea, right? So perhaps the ability to connect with family and friends is the most significant benefit of social media, although businesses are utilizing them increasingly. Okay, now I have what we call paragraph unity. Okay, and paragraph unity is basically the idea that if I have a topic sentence, this is my topic sentence, that topic sentence is supported by the rest of the paragraph, and this is the rest of the paragraph. Okay, so that's the idea of paragraph unity, right? And also, as you can see, these two ideas that I mentioned, they are also mentioned in the thesis statement. So right now, this will allow me to get a very high coherence score, right? Because everything is supporting the topic sentence, and then the topic sentence is supporting what was said in the thesis statement. So everything is connected. Now, do you have any questions at this point?
Can we give examples for each, like for like a family, and can like my idea was thinking that you want to write it like that way. That was I thought. I didn't know that you will put it like both ideas in the same paragraph. But if I'll divide it into two paragraphs, like one talking about family and friends, and give an example like for people living overseas and people trapped in their homes due to pandemic, and give an example in this paragraph, and the other paragraph about companies that they downsized their office places and use the social media and stuff for meeting. And can I do this?
You can do that. However, usually what I'm trying to avoid is trying to give examples, because that's everybody does. But paragraph development is not just giving examples. There are many other things that go into paragraph development, okay?
No, if I
So-
lost ideas, like if I want to just like keep going, because like even if I don't have like enough words or whatever, I can add, right?
You can add, yeah. So let me just talk about paragraph development for a second. So paragraph
Sorry.
development,
Kara,
yes.
here's the point.
Let me just answer this question, and then I'll move to your question.
Okay.
So paragraph development can be examples. It can be description. It can be argument or argumentation. I mean, by argument, I don't mean a fight. I mean trying to convince people. And then also, so example and comparison and contrast. So the problem is that a lot of IELTS samples that I see only use examples, but they don't use the other ones. Try to use the other modes of paragraph development, or the other ways of paragraph development too. Don't just stick with examples, because that's what everybody does. So if you have a little bit more originality, that would be nice. It will get you to a higher band score. Okay, who had questions?
Me, actually, it's almost what you already did, but my question was always in body paragraph, like we ought to write the topic sentence and then explain, then support. So we support our idea by showing an example.
Yeah, so I talked about why that could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
a lower band score, right? So what is your question?
If we did it in this way, it's almost the same as an example. Like it shows like we are supporting our main idea, right?
Yeah, so if I understood your question correctly, you're saying if we use example instead of what I wrote, is that okay? Yeah, that's okay, right? But what I'm trying to aim for is above band score 8. Okay, so a lot of things that work in band score 7, you will have to change them a little bit to get to band score 8 and 9. Does that make sense?
Kara, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, my question is, do I have to use a conjunction for each sentence in the paragraph or not? That's the first one. And the second question, in this case, we did a description, yeah?
Yeah, here, let's see. Users able to create, yeah, that's description. Yeah, both of them are description. Here I
Yeah.
usually use description more. Yeah.
In case of you use argumentation or comparison, please let us know.
Okay. Okay.
And for the use of conjunction, do we have to use in each sentence or not?
You don't really have to use conjunction in every sentence. If you want to have complex sentences everywhere, then you use conjunctions. What I usually do is once I write the essay, I come back and I look at the makeup of the sentences and decide whether something needs to be put together into a complex sentence or not. But at this point, I don't worry about my sentences being complex because that takes away from me trying to express myself properly. So I try to worry about that later. Like I leave 5 minutes at the end and I do those things, which I will do today so you can see it.
Thank you.
I ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you not recommend planning the essay before you start writing?
I absolutely recommend planning it, but the thing is, the planning has to happen really quickly, right? So you don't really have to write it down somewhere. It just can happen in your head. And I kind of planned it here when I wrote my thesis statement. I said connectivity, facilitating this, and then I basically put my ideas here about anxiety, isolation, all of that. And then when I did that, then I already had an idea of how this essay is going to go. So I planned it in my head. Okay. Once you get good at it, you don't really have to plan it on paper. You can plan it in your head and just go ahead with that. But if you feel you're not comfortable with that and it's better if you have something on paper, then yeah, go ahead and put a little plan on paper and then follow that plan paragraph by paragraph. But right now, I have already planned what I'm going to do. This is going to be my introduction. First body paragraph, second body paragraph is going to be about the drawbacks, and then I will conclude.
Kara, can we add anything about the social media and the pandemic as a current situation, or we don't have to?
You don't have to.
Okay.
No, you don't have to. Yeah. Okay.
One quick question. In the first sentence, the topic sentence, should it be businesses? All do businesses are utilizing them increasingly?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. I just added that. All right. Now, second body paragraph, I'm going to again think about my topic sentence. So because I'm thinking about coherence, I talked about the benefits of social media. So here I want to connect the idea of benefits with drawbacks. So I would say, despite the numerous benefits, there are a few, let's not call it pitfalls, but a few dangers, or a few threats that social media pose or social media use poses to users. Okay, so that would be my topic sentence. Let me change the highlight of it. Now I'm going into trying to develop this idea a little bit. So here you can see that I have talked about in the thesis statement, you can see that I have talked about isolation, okay, and then I have talked about anxiety, and I have talked about other psychological ailments. Okay, so other psychological ailments is a vague term. I might come back and delete it if I have enough to say about this, right? So I have to talk about these two, right? So there are numerous examples, or no, let's make it more academic. There is a significant surge or in the number of people who suffer from social isolation because they allow social media to take or to replace their face-to-face interactions. All right. For example, in Japan, there is a concerning phenomenon of adults in their 20s and even 30s who never leave their house or never leave the house, and are glued to their screens. Okay, so here I give a description, all right, and then I give an example. And here, instead of for example, I'll say for instance, just because it's less common. All right, now let's move to anxiety. Let's use something more academic. So furthermore, that's a conjunctive adverb again, because I'm moving to the next idea. The algorithms that are used by companies such as Facebook and Instagram are designed in order to keep users on the keep users scrolling. That would be a nice word, right? And this leads to extreme anxiety among people who are addicted to checking their notifications every few minutes. Okay, so here I'm kind of mixed example and description a little bit. Okay, so that's my second paragraph. Do you have any questions?
Kara?
Yeah.
I have a question regarding social media. Like the question was about socializing or socialize online.
Mm-hmm.
And you start with social media, but you mentioned social media many times.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not sure if you meant this for coherence,
Mm-hmm.
or we can rephrase social media like in different synonyms.
So here's the thing. There is really no synonym for social media. And if you try to create synonyms, I know in a lot of IELTS websites and IELTS, not IELTS books, but in a lot of IELTS websites, they say try to have a lot of synonyms for the same word. But if there is no synonym and you create your own, then what happens is that your LR score will go down because you lose precision.
Okay.
Right?
So no problem if we use social media many times in every body paragraph.
No problem. I have used it and there has never been a problem.
Yeah,
Nice
therefore I'm
students.
asking you because I noticed like social media, which keeps coherence, like it's really there, but I wasn't sure if this considered as repetition.
It is considered repetitious, but there is no way around it. There is
Okay.
absolutely no way around it because if you are trying to use something else, then that will affect your LR. And LR is more important. Just repeating yourself a little bit, that's fine. But if your LR goes down, that's a big problem.
Okay. Another question, idioms, I know it's in speaking. I'm not sure about writing. Like here, I was thinking if I can say in the introduction, like online as double sword edge, because it's negative and positive at the same time, but I'm not sure if this is informal.
Double-edged sword. Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes idioms are informal. If they're informal, then I don't recommend using them. But if they are formal, they're academic, like double-edged sword, that's fine. You can use them and it's good.
I can use it for negative and positive at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. In the second paragraph, we mention about the negative impact of social media. Should we talk like give like why we are in favor of social media in this paragraph, or just talk about the negative impact?
We will talk about the positive and the negative development, like a little bit about positive and a little bit about negative, but where we specify our position is in the thesis statement, and then in the conclusion again you repeat that. You rephrase the thesis statement and you say that, okay, so my position is that despite some problems, it is a positive development. Remember that in the thesis statement, it is not a complete agreement that it's a positive phenomenon or a positive development, right? So, because it has however, so it's kind of a partial answer here. So therefore my paragraphs reflect that is a partial answer. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Cara, one more question. Is there any specific kind of writing that we have to, let's say, if I say I agree, my second body paragraph has to be in agreement as well. Is there any specific category of the exam question that we have to stick to agreement all the way to, throughout our essay?
Yeah, in agree disagree essays, you'll have to stick to one side. If in the thesis statement you stay on one side, then for the rest of the essay you have to stay on that side. You can't switch side. But if your answer is partial there, then throughout the essay you can be partial. So partial essays are more difficult to write because planning them is a little bit more complicated. But agreement essays, or if I was going to just talk about like positive throughout, then that's not really something that requires a lot of complicated planning. So you can just stick with one reason for one paragraph, another reason for another paragraph why this is positive, and then go to the conclusion, right? So I'm taking a little bit more difficult route here.
Okay, so this is more challenging, but I mean, if it was agreement or disagreement, we could, let's say, we could be only like we could agree, and then all the way we just talk about our reasoning for agreement, right?
Yes, yes. Usually in agree disagree, people stay on one side. People don't write partial essays.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. So now in the conclusion, it is very important again to specifically say my position, state my position, because my position is partial. So it's very important how you word it. I really recommend that you write it as a complex sentence. Usually, I start the conclusion with something like overall, okay, to signal to the examiner that this is the conclusion. And then, because I want to say that the positive aspects of social media or socializing online is stronger than the negative aspects, I will use a conjunction of concession, which is although or though, right? Although, and when I say although A comma B, what does this mean? This always means that A is less important than B, because A is in the subordinate clause and B is in the main clause. So whatever's in the subordinate clause is usually less important, smaller, less significant. Okay? So I will put the negatives there because I want to say that I am more leaning towards positive. Then the less important is the negative. So although socializing online may cause some psychological harm, okay, so here I will say it has many uses, such as facilitating communication and bringing and keeping keeping people informed, especially during the current pandemic. Yeah. let me just make it a little bit more complex in terms of structure, which has forced us all to spend a lot of time at home, like that. Okay, so where's the rephrasing of the thesis? It's all the way up to here. That's the rephrasing of the thesis. Let me maybe highlight it in a different color, like that. And then this is kind of something that I call a wrap-up. It sort of gives a sense of ending. So yeah, that would be the structure of the conclusion. So again, this is basically a repetition of the thesis statement, right? So let me just highlight that in the same way. So this is a repetition of that, and a rephrasing of it, to be accurate. And then you can see that we have two topic sentences. One topic sentence acknowledges the previous paragraph. And again, here I show my leaning. I show that numerous benefits, few threats. And this should be threats with S, right? So I will clean this up and put it on the website, and you can access it. So there might be small mistakes that I've made. I will clean those up, and then you will get like a band score 9 version of this on the website that you can see. But let's hear your questions.
I have
Yes.
a question, Kara.
Yep.
In the question, it says choosing to socialize online rather than face to face. Do we need to specify that face to face in introduction? I mean,
So
yeah.
you could, but you don't really have to. Look, the way that these are designed, these questions, they are designed for band score 5 students to understand them. Because if band score 5 students cannot understand them, then that is a problem, because then it's not fair. So you don't have to write as simple as the way the question is written. You have to go above that, because most of you need to be above 7. Right? So you have to completely go beyond the level of the question. Okay, let me just take a look at Lalantha's intro here, what she wrote. Okay, given the global pandemic process here is a little bit weird. I wouldn't use the process. And also given also, let alone the opportunity of choosing. Again, it's very vague. Virtual socializing, that's not really formulaic language, has become the only option that is left for most people. So if I wanted to reword this, I would say as a result of the new pandemic, socializing, or maybe online socializing, has become the only option. Here I would delete that left. 2. Most people who want to be in contact with their who want to, again, these things you have to be more academic. I'm just going to look at this paragraph, but if you have other paragraphs, just email them to me, because I want to keep this video short, okay? With their friends and loved ones. Despite So when you say despite, you don't say of. You usually say in spite of. So you say in spite of or despite. So despite doesn't have of. And here, instead of the, I would say its significant virtuosity, in my opinion, is invariably a positive development. Yeah, that's good. Let me just stop the recording here, and then if you have any other questions, I'll stay and answer them. So just one moment.
Thank you so much Farah, for your time.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome. I
Farah.
hope it
Thank you,
helps.
Farah. This looks very
Thank you,
useful.
Farah. Yeah, we can repeat it more often.
Yes, I'm going
Oh,
to keep doing this weekly, and then the videos will be available for you to look at. So